And welcome to Question and Actor Laurent Pitre. I am here with my incredible, astonishing, amazing friend and artist. Who are you again?
Hey, I'm Peter Robinson, and I'm here in
Peter
Toronto,
Robinson.
Ontario.
Yes, you are. Welcome, Pete, my good
Thanks,
friend.
man.
Welcome. And tell me a little bit about what it is that you do that sparks joy in your life and that makes you feel like maybe this is who I am. What are those
Mm,
things when I ask that question that come to mind?
yeah, I guess sparking joy, I immediately think of my partner, my mom, my dog.
Hmm.
Creatively, I do acting, I do music, I played the drums primarily. Since I moved to Toronto, I don't really have a main band, but growing up and all through my life, I've played drums in bands. I also make electronic music on my laptop and play a little piano, a little guitar, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Those things bring me
Mm.
joy.
I love that. I love that you began with people and the like the relationships that mean the most to you before
Mm,
talking about what you do, which again speaks to the character of who you are, the person that I have met. I had the pleasure of meeting you on a set and collaborating with you as an actor, and I think it also makes total sense that you're a drummer because I felt from you just the immense support. You were a great person at understanding rhythm. You
mm.
were just the heart of things. It just felt like in the film that we worked on together as actors, I just felt I had your support and you had my back and we were jamming out together and not knowing what we would do, and we'd look at each other and have these moments where like, where are you gonna go? But we could just keep pace. So I find that that's so interesting. Do you find there are some parallels that you've taken from your career as a musician? Are there things that you pull from music into your acting and vice versa?
That's a great question. I've never really thought of it like that, but yeah, I guess it's just kind of in me to. I guess with acting, there's certain times where you have to hit beats in a
Hmm.
in a in a scene. I guess that kind of. I mean, I like to hope and think that I hit those things naturally and can feel the rhythm of a scene. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought of it like that, but maybe.
So let's go all the way back in time then with me. Play this little game of make believe, and let's go back in time, rewind the sun and the calendars, and go back to that moment where you began to dream and believe that hey, this art thing or this music thing or this acting thing really interests me. Do you remember that moment or those series of moments that really made a difference for you?
Yeah, uh I remember that I wanted to be an actor in like 6th grade when we started learning about Shakespeare and or maybe it was grade 7. Anyway,
Ah.
an elementary school teacher, gave us the intro to Shakespeare, and then we all had to break into groups, go into the hallway, and then like do a little Shakespeare scene. And I remember that was
Wow.
the first time where I was like, "Whoa, I really like playing pretend." Um, yeah, and I don't know, I kind of fell in love with it then, and I remember asking my mom before bedtime, like I don't know, around that time, to put me into acting class.
Mm.
And, well, they never ended up doing that, which is fine. I found my
No
love
way.
for that later on once I got into high school. I think it was
Wow.
one of those things where, when you're a kid and you're like, "This week I wanna be a skateboarder. This week I wanna
Yes.
do acting. This week I wanna play hockey." So I think it
Yes.
was one of those things, and they probably thought, "Oh, he's gonna be in high school soon enough, and there's an acting program there." I'm the youngest of 3, so my
Ah.
brother and my sister were already in high school, and my sister had done
Oh.
some high school theater productions. So I think they already knew that like if I was very serious about it, I would get into that once I got into high school,
Mm.
which I did. Yeah, so as soon as 8th grade rolled around, I think I was the only kid in my grade to audition to be in the like school production.
Oh. The
Yeah,
only boy, or there were no one else that wanted to
the
be in the
only
acting
eighth
program?
grader, the only eighth grader that got into
No
like the main
way.
stage production program.
Oh, okay.
Because you had
Okay,
to
so you
like,
were the youngest one to audition to get in. Oh,
yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So that was in
wow.
like eighth grade. And it was like
Oh.
a small part, but I was like, I felt like
Yeah.
it's so funny. When you're in eighth grade and you
Yeah.
look at 12th graders and they look
Yeah.
massive, I
Yeah.
just felt like I was walking with giants at the time, hanging out with the
Yes.
12th graders, just like being all
Wow.
cool after school. Anyway, so that was pretty hilarious. But yeah, I don't know, I just stuck with acting all through high school. I was pretty much
Wow.
in every main stage production, and they called it Spring Fever, which was like one act festivals in the spring.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of where fell in love with it all, I suppose. I also took the film program, which was for like the 11th and 12th grade kids. So once I got up to that
Wow.
age, I started like learning a little bit about film. And of course, this is back in, 2007, 2008. So we're shooting these films on like tape hand
Yes.
recorders.
Oh,
We weren't
wow.
even like our school was underfunded, so they weren't even in the digital age. We were like learning to
Still
cut with
VCR.
like tape recorders, like those like mini
Whoa.
tapes.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Actually, I think they also had one digital camera, but you had to like it was always like fighting over who could you know rent that one out because everybody wanted the digital one.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a
Wow.
good time. It's funny enough, actually, talking about music production and like making electronic music. That was the first time I ever got to use GarageBand on a MacBook. So we'd
Ooh.
make a grade 12 or grade 11 film, and then I'd go cook up like original music for it afterwards. And I was already trying to like
Wow.
get into doing scoring and stuff for our own films. So
Wow. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
man.
So music and acting were hand in hand. So it sounds like, acting started in grade 6 with the Shakespeare scene. I'm really curious if you remember which play this was from.
I
No,
I
but okay.
don't. I
That's fine. That's
don't.
fine. You're just like, to be or not to be, this is me.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
cool. Oh my god. That is so amazing. I love that story so so very much. But yeah, I'm curious, when did the music start coming into your life too?
Oh, on my mom's side, a bunch of my uncles were in a band. Some of them have passed on now, but I grew up just watching my uncles play. So
Wow.
I remembered even, at the probably like age of like 4 or 5, like going up and like playing a tambourine or an egg shaker, and eventually they let me hop on the drum set. When I
Wow.
was really young, and I practiced really hard to like learn one song. Um, and I would just like I'd be like, okay, this is my song, and go up, and all I could do was like a four on the floor beat, and I was so proud of myself. But anyway, they were
Yes.
stoked.
Aw, I mean, yeah, that's amazing to see. Like, yeah, family and music brings people together. I find that that's so beautiful that you had examples to look to in your family, both like with music, with your uncles playing in the bands, but also, to bring it back to your sister, she was doing plays and she was doing theater. So, it must have felt nice in some way to see what could be possible for yourself. Did you find like you had
Yeah.
examples throughout your life that made you sort of develop a kind of courage to try it out yourself?
Yeah, I mean, yes, definitely seeing my sister, and I mean my brother also did school plays as well. Definitely gave me that courage at the beginning, and felt like I could, I don't know, follow in their footsteps in a way.
Hmm.
Even if it's just like, the beginnings of your adolescence in the high school years. It's still just a great yeah, just good positive role models for me at the time. Same with the uncles
Mhm.
too, right? And I will say,
Mhm.
once I got into eighth grade, ninth grade, I started my like a couple of bands in high school as well, just
Mm.
where I, made my main friend group that I'm still really good buddies with, like to this day. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so music and acting just brings people together, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. There we go. End of podcast. Thank you so much, everybody,
Yeah,
for
see you
tuning
later.
in. I'm
Thanks for
just
having
kidding.
me. All right. Bye. And scene.
Oh, but honestly, it's so cool to hear where you come from, because I find our acting and artist origin stories usually really point to what we end up really chasing in life, what we sort of find as valuable experiences. So I find it's always interesting to dig into that. So then,
Mhm.
yeah, you did music, and you did some acting and some filmmaking, and sound scoring too, right? Because your music has also helped you now score films and be in that kind of space of recording sound. So tell me about that jump from high school to the quote unquote scary real world. Like, what did you do after high school to keep the artistry going? What questions did you face at that point? What challenges? I think we kind of skipped over where you grew up, so that might also influence it, but maybe help us sort of understand where you're coming from, and what you sort of started to land into once you left high school.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I grew up in Vancouver, which is a great place for film and television to grow up in.
Hmm. Hmm.
I um I did a lot of background work actually in high school, like for
Oh,
union shows. One of my best friends, his mom was a background casting agent, and I was in a band
wow.
with him. We were in like a high school band together. So she would often hire, us, like his name is Kyle, hire all of Kyle's like best buddies to go and be background. So we were on like Jeepers Creepers and like a couple of
Wow.
Disney like like teeny bopper shows. And it was just a good way for us to all hang out and make money together.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I guess out of high school, I ended up signing with that agency to do some like background stuff and started taking some acting classes. Um, yeah, and I kind of just got a regular job, man. I was just putting around trying to figure out
Hmm.
life and still playing with my bands. Yeah, I was in a band called Aardvark Robinson, and we used to like go play
Whoa.
at clubs when I was like not even old enough to go into clubs yet.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was like I think I was
Badass.
17 or 18, and we like started playing like at the Roxy and like downtown places on the Granville Strip, and like we weren't even allowed to like be in the bar. Like we it's funny, they were booking us and people were like going nuts, which was great. I felt like
Wow.
the coolest dude ever, man. I was like, I'd
Hmm.
go play a bar downtown and then like go to school the next day, and like I'd invite all my like teachers that I thought were cool, and they'd come down to the pub and like drink beers and like watch our band play, and they were stoked for us.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. It sounds like you continued this trend since grade 8 of like punching up, going into
Yeah,
walking
man.
into the giants, like always
Chasing
kind
the
of,
dragon.
yeah, chasing the dragon. Yeah, exactly. Like always trying to find something that's thrilling, that's exciting, that makes you go, "Oh, wow, I'm growing." So, and I think
Hmm.
there's something interesting too that you said there, which I find is something that sometimes I think actors or artists kind of avoid, which is that small mention of the regular job. I
Mm.
think it's something I've learned more and more to encourage young actors to do is get jobs, get real
Hell
jobs,
yeah.
get regular jobs, because there's nothing romantic about a starving artist. I think there's nothing more exciting than a thriving artist, and a thriving artist is someone who has money in the bank and food in the fridge and a house over their head. A house over the head, a roof over the head, a house over the head. Watch out.
Absolutely,
Um,
man.
but you know what I mean? Like I
I've had a
think
lot of
that.
weird jobs in my day.
Yep, yep, same. So tell me about that. Like, how did you balance it at first, and did you feel like there was a moment in time in your career where things started to shift more into more full time as an artist and more like confident, being like, yeah, I am an actor, and tell us about those moments.
Yeah, definitely. So I'd say so okay, I'll go back a little bit and
Yes.
I finished high school, was putting around for a bit. I ended up taking a music production course in
Oh,
Vancouver, and it was like a
cool.
1 year thing at like a community college, which was cool. I dipped my toes into I wanted to start do like blend my love of film and sound, so I was like, "Oh, I want to become a Foley artist." do that kind of
Oh.
thing. Because yeah, I just thought it was a great way to marry my love of like audio recording, doing music, and working in film, and still always had that drive to be an actor. But I kind of,
Mhm.
I think I really at the time was like more into music.
Hmm.
So I kind of pursued that a little bit, and I ended up moving to Los Angeles, and I went to the LA Film School for recording arts.
Whoa.
Um, yeah, yeah. So I lived in LA for 2 years and
Wow.
got my degree in like audio sciences and started doing some like post-production, film stuff, dialogue editing, some Foley stuff, and all that. And then my schooling finished and I moved back to Vancouver. And I was like, oh God, like I just finished film school and now here I am once again working on a moving truck. Like,
Wow.
I got
Yeah.
my degree and now I've got nothing to show for it. What am I doing?
Yeah.
So that kind of worried me because, you know, I was at that point 5, 6 years out of high school, and I
Yeah.
felt like I was back at point 1 again. Even
Yeah.
though I
Yeah.
like have all this knowledge and stuff, I was like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
it's like, what am I gonna do? I need to figure something out here." And then, sorry, I will get to what your question.
No, this is great. I
This is
love
the
this. No, but
progression.
it's so real, that odyssey of going on the adventure, coming back, and like it's all the same, but you're totally different. You're like completely changed, but it takes a while to realize that. So
Yeah, yeah,
keep
yeah, for
going.
sure.
This is
So,
fascinating.
in 2017, my sister sent me um like an ad for one of her friends, this Indigenous actress, filmmaker, screenwriter named Elmaya Tailfeather had gotten grant money to make a feature film.
Hmm.
And part of it was to hire Indigenous trainees to
Oh.
come on to, you know, potentially their first movie set. And obviously, I'd worked as a background person before, but never in like a technical job. So I applied for the sound recordist, like location sound recordist trainee position, which I ended
Mhm.
up getting. And it was my first time on, yeah, like a decently sized production where I was like doing sound.
That's
And
cool.
I kind of fell in love with that. It was
Mm.
like kind of just what I was looking for.
Wow.
Being on set and getting to learn a script, even though you're not, at the time I was not doing any acting stuff, but learning that script as like I was basically like helping the boom operator, putting labs on for the first time, like learning all these new skills that I learned a little bit of it in school, but like this is like you're there on the day, like this is like the first job, so it was like holy shit, like I learned so much. Also, am I allowed to say bad words?
Yes, yes, it's going to be
Okay.
explicit. This is the fucking podcast of the century.
Well, fuck yeah, then. So yeah. Anyway, it was one of those moments where I was like, oh my god, like this is sick. I'm learning so much. Like you
Wow.
you learn by doing and not by sitting in a classroom.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with doing location sound, and I was like, yo, this is it. And that's also when it like watching people act in front of me again
Hmm.
kind of like sparked that passion again. And that's kind of when I
Mm.
really started like having that like fire lit in my heart again to like get back into doing that because I was focusing a little bit more technical side of like audio recording, working in a recording studio, which I started doing a little bit of. And anyway, yeah, I just really fell in love with working on set. So I started just researching equipment, and I bought, over time, I bought, I have like a full sound kit now, and that's basically what pays my bills now. I'm like a
Mhm.
full-time location sound recordist for, like primarily on nature documentaries, which is really, really sick.
Mhm.
How I fell into that. I feel like that's when I kind of made yeah, I'd say 2018 is when I finally felt like I was on that path of like, okay, I'm like doing a job that I love, that I
Mhm.
went to school for, and I'm like good enough at it that I'm making enough to pay my bills and like live comfortably. And then also in my spare time, have enough energy and drive to like focus on acting and do auditions and like still create music and everything. So It's been a long effing road, but I finally
Yeah.
feel like I'm like comfortably at a place where I'm like, I don't know, maybe have enough time to pursue all of my passions.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
taken a long time, but it's good to
Yeah.
be here. I just you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta follow that fire, that faith, and also have like you said, that follow your intuition, and maybe it guides you in unexpected places like it did for you, right? Like you were like, okay, now I'm like studying sound and going to LA, but then now I'm back in Vancouver, and then I'm like, what? And then you
Well,
found yourself.
I'll say
Go
this
ahead.
as well, like after that gig where I was on Elmaya's project. It was called The Body Remembers When the World Broke Open.
Whoa.
Really, really cool movie. You should check it out, actually. The whole thing is a one shot.
Where is it? Where can we watch it so that you can
That's a
shout it out?
that's a very good question. Do you have a computer? You could probably Google it. I don't know.
Yeah, 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 but
Sorry, I'm
maybe
just
I'll
on my
try. If you find it later, I'll put it in the show notes so that people can
sweet.
check it out. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, so after that I started applying for more sound gigs
Hmm.
as like a boom operator, and I got hired on a CW show called The Trickster.
Oh wow.
And I started boom opping on that, and it was funny, like the more I was working as a boom operator, I felt like I was like in an acting class,
Yeah.
and I was just soaking in like all of the, I don't know, just everything around me and watching different people's techniques and I don't yeah, I honestly feel like I've learned more just watching other people acting on a professional set than I ever have in an acting
Hmm.
class.
Hmm.
So just being
Yeah.
on set and everything was just so beneficial for me as an actor. And
Yeah.
at the time I never had an agent or anything, and I had kind of pushed my drive for acting off to the side, and but I always still had that passion for it. And I'd say in like 2020, I think, is when I finally was like, I just gotta get back into this and like and go
Hmm.
for it. Um, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's just like in you, you gotta get it out. I'm sure it's
Hmm.
the same with
Hmm.
you,
Yeah.
where it's just something
Yeah.
that you just, I don't know, I don't know what I don't, it was just like this thing where I was just like, ugh, I gotta
Hmm.
pursue this. I gotta try, like I
Hmm.
gotta
Hmm.
give that little version of Pete that was
Yeah.
acting Shakespeare in the hallway a chance to like to keep going. I don't know,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
your inner child, doing right by them by
Yeah.
just pursuing those things
Absolutely.
as an adult.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's absolutely like what we're doing as actors. We're grown up. Play pretenders. We're like little children, and the work that we do is so silly but yet so serious. So we're honored to get to do what we do, but there
Yeah,
is,
man.
like you said, some sort of calling that feels very mystical to anyone who feels called by it. And I, like you said, there's nothing better than going after it than not going after it and thinking what if. But there's
Hmm.
also, like I think your career is a beautiful example of that. Is like sometimes like the best thing you can do for your acting is go and learn something else, go and do something else, go and be with nature. Like you don't need to be in a scene study class to learn like what you did, right? Like I think some actors may not have as much experience, but like I'm sure and help us understand too. Like as a sound person, you're right there in front of professional actors, and you're
Hmm.
kind of their scene partner too, right? Especially if you're boom operating, or you gotta make sure the sound is hits them at the right point. And like you said, you're learning the script not only because like you're an actor and want to know the story, but you're thinking about, okay, well, I'm gonna have to put the sound there. Oh, okay, the shot's here, so where am I gonna put the mic? How am I gonna be a
Bro,
good ally to them?
absolutely. And it goes back to what
Right?
we were just talking about at the very beginning about hitting those beats. In a
Mm.
scene, it's the same way. You gotta like, I mean, I don't really do sound for scripted stuff anymore, I will say,
Uh-huh.
because I've made a
Right.
conscious decision. I want to be an actor, and I am an actor, and that's
I love
why
that.
I don't want people in the scripted world to see me
To
as a
think
boom
of you as a
operator,
sound guy.
because that at
Yeah.
that point, it's like a weird subconscious thing where
Yeah.
like they're not going to see you as many characters or like as a person who could play characters. They're just like, oh, that's just the dude who like holds the pole over there. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
quite a few years ago. I'd say, yeah, like in 2020, when I was like, I'm no longer gonna do sound for scripted stuff, especially in the union world, because yeah, I need people to see me this way, and it's been great. And I made the jump into doing nature documentaries and Indigenous documentaries, um, and I have so much joy that comes out of doing those things. It's like so fulfilling to tell Indigenous stories and nature
Mm.
conservation stories.
Mm.
So I'm really happy and proud of myself for getting to this place.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful that you made that jump for yourself too, because it makes me think of the actor Bill Hader, who is on SNL, but and now made that show that's like super amazing. The Barry, about like the actor, like the hitman who wants to be an
Yeah, yeah.
actor. So it just
Yo,
made me think of
that show's
that.
so funny, man.
So good, right? But it
Yeah,
made me think
yeah.
of that too, because I'm like, I totally understand what you're talking about. Of like, at a certain point, you need to decide which sort of persona or character that people are going to perceive you as, and your
Hmm.
actions and your choices unfortunately have some repercussion on how you get cast as an actor too, right? Like if you're always the sound guy, they'll be like, oh, he'd be perfect as the sound guy. Or like, hey, like,
Yeah.
well, P, like, yeah, I knew you did a great audition, but we need a sound guy. Could you do our, like it's so I it's nice that you're making that shift and you're putting it out there too, so that people know, like, Pete is not available to shoot your feature as the sound guy. If you have something in nature, he's willing to be there, or some, beautiful Indigenous stories, he's there. But he's an actor, and he's like, but he's bringing all this stuff that he's learned, and you're bringing also experiences, I'm sure, by doing these documentaries, that you're not just like you have nothing to talk about. You probably have like know so much about birds and animals and your culture and like the people who live here, like, and that's such rich treasures to draw from as an actor, as opposed to like, let's talk about I don't know, death of a salesman, like, hey, I walked up so many flights of stairs. I don't know. I haven't read that play in a while.
No,
But
I
you
know
know
what
what
you're
I
saying
mean?
though, man. I get to go on some pretty wicked adventures all the time, and it's taking me all over the world. I've gone to Indonesia to do an episode
Wow.
about manta rays. I was recently in Boston doing an episode about narwhals. We like shot in the
Wow.
microscopy department at Harvard, putting like a narwhal tusk into like an electron microscope. It was
Wow.
crazy, bro. Like I'm surrounded
Wow.
by like the top scientists in the world, and I'm like the dumbest
Wow.
guy in the room, which is the good place to be in my opinion.
Yes.
So, and I
Hmm.
was just like, I'm just constantly in awe every time I get to go on these like nature of things shoots. So I work on the nature of
Wow.
things quite often, and it's just like, wow. I don't know, it's like the coolest shit I've ever seen
Yeah.
in my life.
Wow. It
So
just
it's pretty
it's
blessed.
it's full circle to, again, that eighth grader who auditioned for the play and got in around giants. It's so smart of what you just said there, of like, you want to be the dumbest guy in the room, because
Yeah.
then you're sort of like, oh, okay, no, I actually belong here, and you sort of elevate yourself. Like, you find people that inspire you. And it's so cool, the being part of documentary crews. You're learning real things that, again, as an actor, it's like, it's almost more important to study life than it is to study the imitation of life, right? I think a
Mm.
lot of actors get really drawn in by, coaches and acting classes, and like that's the
Hmm.
gym. But like, I think another kind of gym is called real life, like you were talking about at the beginning, right? You talked about your mom, your sister, and your dog. And like, that just shows me you understand what it is to be an actor too, because an actor isn't all about the act that people are going to see. It's about all that's underneath that allows him the space to be
Mm.
the best that he can be in his own life, and that hopefully the stories you end up telling and the characters you end up being, that they end up teaching you lessons that help you be more present in your own life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as an actor, the one thing I don't want to be seen as is like faking it,
Yeah.
and through just real life experience, I think that's the things that you can draw from while you're in a scene.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Mm. 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 This is beautiful. This is
it
just
is.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this chat so much. Um, Speaking of real life experiences and things like that, we talked a little bit about that transition that you made for yourself. Now, I don't know how recently it was, but you talked about 2020 giving that chance to yourself. Was there a conscious moment or a series of moments? And talk to me
Mm.
about that renaissance that you had for yourself in terms of as an actor, like what in 2020 and in the years following that the actions that you took to really honor that dream, like you were talking about that sixth grader who wanted to do Shakespeare. So tell me about those moments that you had there.
Yeah, so I guess when I finally made that jump into telling myself I'm an actor,
Hmm.
I don't want to be an actor. I'm an actor, even if I have no experience. It's in you.
Hmm.
That's something that you just are. Um, I started becoming a little bit more involved with the Indigenous acting community in Vancouver.
Oh.
At the time, I didn't have an agent or anything. A good friend of mine, Grace, is an actor as well, actress, and she just needed a reader. And I was
Mm,
just like, hey, anytime you need a reader, let me come and I'll just help you do your auditions. And I just want to watch and see how auditions are done.
mm,
And so yeah, I just kind of started helping a friend of mine reading auditions just so I could be in the loop, even if it's just helping.
mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I don't really remember how long after it was, but there was an open casting call for just Indigenous um, performers across Canada for a show called Bones of Crows. And
Oh
I
yeah.
had helped my friend Grace read for the main character.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And she was like, "Hey, you've been helping me for like this long now. Like, do you want to try reading for it? It's an open casting call." And I
Wow.
was like, "Yeah, sure." So that's when did my like first audition. And
Wow.
so we taped it together and she helped me a lot. And she sent it to her agent and she was like, "Hey, my friend Pete wants to be an actor and could you send this in for him?" And he was like,
Wow.
"Hey, this is a pretty good tape." So he sent it in, and then like a couple days later, he just emailed me and was like, "Hey, man, do you want to sign up with our agency?" And I was
Wow.
like, "Yeah, that would be sick. Like, I would love to." So it's funny because
Nice.
it's a different trajectory than a lot of people. Some people go
Yeah.
to film school, this, that, and the other. They make like a demo tape of like, and then they send that out to agents and hope that
Yeah.
somebody will watch their demo and then like give them an offer. And it just wasn't like that for me. I was just trying to be helpful and just like loved the process of doing auditions and then
Wow.
just answered an open casting call and then boom, got an
Yeah.
agent. And it
Wow.
was pretty sick. My friend Grace got the lead role on that show,
Duh. Wow. Cool.
which was awesome. And I mean, I didn't get the role, which is okay. It was my first audition ever.
It's totally normal to not get your first audition. I'm glad
Yeah,
you didn't have that bar set as like, oh, it's gonna be easy.
yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. You still had the silver lining was you got an agent, and I think that that's more
Yeah,
important than just booking a role. Yeah, you got an ally.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
absolutely. So yeah, he's still my agent over at Principal's
Cool.
Talent. John Burrows, he's super dope.
Nice.
Um, yeah, and that was like my first kind of stepping stone, and ever since then, I've just been doing whatever auditions they send me.
Yeah, hitman for hire. That's what the actors are. You're like, who's the
Yeah.
target? All right, I got it in my sights. Pow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So then you got this agent and then you started doing auditions. So tell me about that period of time and tell me maybe what was like the first booking that you had and tell me about the story of that moment and how did it feel to get that first booking?
Yeah, what did I book first? Man, sorry, I have a pretty bad memory.
It's fine.
Let me think here. I think my first booking, it was either first or second, but I
Hmm.
was on a Disney show called Motherland, Fort Salem,
Oh,
as like
nice.
a oh my God, this is actually such a funny story, bro.
Tell me,
Okay.
tell me.
We might have to bleep some of this out. I don't know. I don't want Disney coming after me. But
It's okay.
okay, so I booked this role, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was funny. It was like there was no lines, but it was like a
Oh.
feature, but still like an act, like still
Oh.
like an actor credit. So it would have been my
Oh.
first credit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there I booked the role. I was like, sick. Okay, I don't have any lines, but I'm just gonna go stand there and I get to learn more on set, like a proper
Yeah.
set, as like an actor again. So I was like really, really excited. And of course, this is during COVID time, so I was like, okay, like cool. And they were like, all right, you need to come in here every single day for 2 weeks ahead of time and take a COVID test on the lot
Whoa.
every single day. And I was like,
Whoa.
okay, sounds good. This is like deep in COVID times, okay?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I think this is 2021,
Yeah,
January
yeah, yeah.
2021.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I think it only took me like well maybe 4 months, and I like finally booked a role, and I was like, okay, sick.
Hell
This is
yeah.
pretty sick. Not too
Yeah,
bad because
yeah.
I know a lot of
Not
people
bad. That's
don't ever
really
get it
good.
that fast. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was so happy. Anyway, so 2 weeks every single day, I'm going in there
Yeah.
and doing the nose swabs, like the deep
Swabbing
swab,
it up.
the
Oh yeah.
brain
Deep,
tickler
deep,
they used
deep.
to
Yeah,
call
yeah,
them.
yeah. Yes, I remember.
So
Yeah.
I go in there every day, negative, negative, every single day.
Nailing it. Yeah.
The day arrives, okay?
No.
It was like a
No.
Monday. No, I go in there and it's like, okay, it's
Uh-huh.
time to shoot the scene. So
Okay, good.
I go through yeah, yeah, the day arrives. I go through processing, I arrive, get the wardrobe, start doing the hair and makeup, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they put me in the trailer. And they're like, "All right, your scene's up at like 11 a.m."
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like maybe 6:30 or something. So I was like, okay,
Yes.
like a couple hours to wait around.
Yeah.
Just fine. So I just chilled and I felt totally fine, which is great. Nobody comes and knocks on the door,
Nope.
and it's now 3 p.m. And I was sitting in a trailer like the entire time, and somebody
No
knocks
one
on the
got you
door.
anything? No one got you food or anything?
I mean, I think you could go get coffee or whatever. But
Yeah, there was like, yeah, 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 craft services or something.
yeah. But yeah, 3 p.m. rolls around. Somebody comes and knocks on the door, and they're like, "Hey, so we're shutting down the set. Half of the
Mm.
crew all tested positive for COVID. So
Oh,
it wasn't me,
it wasn't you.
luckily, but they were
No
like, "Hey, we're
way.
we're the set is getting shut down."
No
And
way.
I just sat there all day,
Whoa.
and they're like, "Yeah."
Wow.
And we're gonna have they were like, yeah, so like, we need you to go right now to get a
Yeah.
COVID test. Because
My
they're
God.
like, because it was a union
Because you
set, they were
might
like,
have
yeah,
been, yeah, you might have been in
exposed.
contact or, yeah, my God.
Exactly.
Oh
They were
my
like, yeah,
God.
we need you to go to the doctor right now, do a COVID test because we don't know, like, you could have been exposed to it. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're shutting down tomorrow, but we'll be back. It was like either Wednesday or Thursday. They're taking a full day off. Then they were going to go through the union, get an entire new crew of union workers
Wow.
that don't have COVID to
Jeez
come
Louise.
in
Wow.
2 days from them. But they were like, we need all of our like asked to go and get a COVID test right now.
Again, right. Wow.
I
Jeez
get a call the
Louise.
next day. They're like, "Yeah, you got COVID."
No.
Yeah, and it was like one of the I can't remember who called me. It was one of the producers, and they were like, "We're so sorry, but like we can't have you on set."
Oh, wow. What a journey. My Lord. You got there. You were healthy. You were healthy.
I
And
know,
oh
my
my
first
gosh.
freaking gig, bro, and I was like, "Oh
That's
my
pretty
God." They're
fucking,
like,
that's
"Yeah,
really
they're
hilarious.
like, "We can't hire you for like for I think it was like 10 business days or something." They're like, it's like Disney's
Ah,
rules. It has
yes.
to be 10
Yeah.
business days before you can come
COVID
back
takes
on
10
set.
business days to come around. It's
And it
like,
was funny.
what? Oh, is it has how many days has it been? Oh, 5 more business days. Okay. I take the
I
weekend
was
off.
so pissed, bro. I didn't have
That
any
sucks,
symptoms. I
man.
felt fine, but they were like, "Your
Yes.
test says negative." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I guess that them's the breaks."
Yeah.
So I was bummed. I went home, or yeah, I guess I just stayed home. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm staying home for 2 weeks because I apparently have COVID.
Yep.
During that
Yep.
time, the same show sent me an audition for a different role, and somehow that week booked it.
No.
Yeah,
Really?
I was back on set in 3 weeks, different part
No
with
way!
lines.
Yes!
The
That's
redemption.
amazing! That
I
is
know.
amazing. Everything happens for a reason,
Isn't that
and that
hilarious?
is amazing. I am so happy that that's the story. I don't even think Disney would be upset about this story being out there. I think they'd be very pleased by that story. That's
I hope so.
amazing.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
I hope so.
Wow.
Isn't
That's
that
such
hilarious
a
though? So
cool story.
I eventually became Res Cop number one.
Res Cop number
Res
1.
Cop. Yep.
Nice.
So that was chill. And I got my first couple lines of dialogue on a network
Wow.
show. So that was great.
Incredible. And that show is, again, for your fans who are listening to this, what is it called?
Oh, it was called Motherland, Fort Salem.
Motherland, Fort Salem.
I think it was
Okay,
season
okay.
3. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Season 3. Check out Res Cop number 1, Pete
Let's
Robinson.
go.
That's so cool. That's amazing. So yeah, that's your first one. You got the
Quickest
first one we
turnaround
kind
I've
of
ever
remember.
seen.
Wickedest turnaround. I love that story. Is there one that you've done recently that feels like, or is there the actor's worst question that you could ever ask an actor? But is there one that really sticks out as your favorite? Not a favorite actually, but one that was particularly meaningful for you as an actor to play, and that you felt something special about recently?
Hmm. I don't know, man. Like nothing that really sticks out. I feel like any role that I ever do, even if it's just like small ones,
Mm-hmm.
you're still pulling from somewhere inside of you. So they're all kind of special in their own way. I've definitely
Mm.
had a lot of fun on certain roles just because of the people that I'm around. So
Mhm.
those ones are obviously special. Like, meeting you was freaking incredible.
Yeah.
I was also on a movie called Hey Victor, where like I'm still buddies with those guys. Like we're, sending memes to each other like every day. And I only worked for them for like 5 days or whatever.
That's
And we just
amazing.
like made lifelong friendships. So, there's times like that where you just meet like-minded people where you're just like, oh my God,
Mm.
like did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
I feel like certain movie sets, actually, well, I guess all movie sets kind of feel like going to summer camp,
Yeah.
where you're just with people so intimately every second of every day, other than driving home and like sleeping. And I don't know, it's you just become so tight knit with these people, and it's really
Yeah.
special. And it's how I've made some of my closest friends to this day is through being on set with people. So
Mm.
that's really special, and yeah.
Mm. And can you share any maybe even music or acting or film projects that you're working on right now that you're excited about? Because I know you're part of a would it be called a band, Ghost Etiquette? I was listening to some of your music. It's like
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah, me and my cousin Shane started that project during COVID because, well, like I was
Uh-huh.
telling you earlier, primarily I was always a drummer in like a live band. And then
Uh-huh.
obviously when the whole world shut down, I was like, okay, cool. I guess I got to sit in my room and just like make music on my laptop.
Make beats, coming back
Yeah,
full circle to them beats.
yeah, hell yeah. And I don't know, whenever I sit on a laptop and make music, I'm like, I should be making like computer music, something that sounds like it was made
Mm.
on a computer. And that's kind of why I just started making trance music. I don't know. I just like also a bunch
Mm.
of my buddies in high school were like into trance music, and I'd like play Big Two in the smoke pit and like listen to Tiesto. And I don't
Wow.
know, it just felt like the the right genre to focus on.
Beautiful. I love
Um
that. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, me and Shane have been doing that basically since COVID, and it was just a great way for us as cousins to just hang out and spend time
Mm.
together during the pandemic.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we were like, okay, like let's be in each other's bubble, and we can just like hang out every day and like
Mhm.
learn how to produce music.
Wow.
Because I wasn't like super proficient at it. I knew how to like record live
Yeah.
on set or like live with bands, but like editing and mixing music, especially like electronic music, fast electronic like that is, I don't know, it's just really technical. And I was like, oh, great, another skill that I can learn and another thing that
Mm.
I can like nerd out on.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's kind of why we started that project, and it's just been a fun thing to pursue.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Wow. I have maybe a couple of final questions, but this has just been so insightful, and I thank you so much for hopping on to this. I feel like the stories you've shared will be really inspirational for a lot of people out there. But I'm curious too. What is some really great advice that you received about life or about acting that you feel like you followed? And what's also some like advice that you've heard that you're like, man, that's not particularly helpful to hear? And,
Mm.
share that with us so that
You know,
we can really think about that.
I was listening to another podcast recently, and
Hmm.
I heard a great quote. So I'm going to steal that quote.
Do it.
And it's the cave you fear holds the treasure you seek. And I think I've
Ooh.
always been kind of just like, you got to put yourself out of your comfort zone
Hmm.
and just keep pursuing things that maybe make you feel anxious or nervous to,
Hmm.
I don't know, there could be some beautiful thing on the other side of that if you just keep going and keep dreaming and stuff. Not to be
Hmm.
super, I don't know, is that cliche or lame to say, but
No, not at
just you
all.
just gotta keep driving forward and yeah, yeah. So I like that quote.
What's
Gives
the
me some
cave for you? What's the cave that you feel drawn to or the treasure that you're seeking?
oh gosh, I don't know what the treasure is, but I know as far as like I guess the quote unquote cave, it's just I'd say like life habits. The ups and
Oh,
downs
okay.
of life. I'm just trying to be like the best version of myself.
Hmm.
And I feel like I've struggled in the past with like depression, mental health, getting
Hmm.
into bad habits. And the past
Mm-hmm.
like I'd say year and a half, I've really been focused on like my mental health, my personal health, eating right, and just like
Mm.
getting into the I guess I feel like I need to prepare myself for the things that I want, even though they might not be here yet. I want to be ready when they do come. Like,
Wow.
for example, like getting a big. I want to get a big reoccurring role on like a network series.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel like if I'm not preparing my mind and my body and my spirit to be ready for those things to arrive, that I don't think they're gonna arrive. You know what I mean? I need to
Mm.
be ready before I don't know, I feel like I'm talking in circles, but I'm just trying to
No, that's
be
beautiful.
prepared for the good things that I think are gonna come my way. And I think if
Mm.
I it's like it flows in like this kind of direction. If I get prepared, it will come. If I don't get prepared, I don't know if it'll show up. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't know if I'll
yeah.
be ready for it. So I'm just trying to be ready for whatever comes my way. So I'm trying to take care of myself. And honestly,
Mm.
it's been tough.
Oh yeah,
Getting out of
yeah.
those like bad habits that I may have had for myself in the past has been you know, it's tough to change yourself for the better. So
Hmm.
that's what I've been kind of focused on lately. It's just
Wow.
like we were talking about earlier, just living life and living clean and living with love and optimism and stuff like that for myself and my family and the people around me.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Sounds almost like you have to be the treasure that's inside that cave, and that you're
yeah, hell yeah,
inviting the opportunities to come and have a party in your cave with the trance music,
hell yeah,
with
the
the
rave
taking
cave,
care of
baby, let's
yourself.
go.
Yes, which is interesting because most people think that, like you said, like that you have to go out and get your opportunities, but I like that what you're talking about is inviting it in and attracting the opportunities, and by being ready for it. I think that there's a lot of people too, like you said, who want to be a reoccurring on a TV series, but get stressed when they have like a 14-page audition. They're like, oh, like can't I have like 8 days to prep? And like if you're reoccurring, that's every day.
Yeah,
Maybe you
yeah,
have a day
100%.
where it's 14 pages and like you got it last night. So
Yeah, and
or and it changes the day of, so those can
I'll say
happen.
this too. I want certain things for myself. But let's say I
Yeah,
never get. Let's say that offer never comes.
I love this. Where let's go.
I I don't think any part of me is going to regret the fact that I have been eating well and been going to the gym
Yes.
and taking care of myself. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like it's all positive. So I don't know. It's yeah, it's just all
Hmm.
positive. I'm not going to regret taking care of myself in the long
No.
run and having longevity. And
Hmm.
I really want those things. Like working actor, I want that to be my main bread and butter all the time. you know?
I love
And
that.
right now, I'm sure like most actors that it's a little bit here, a little bit there. But to really get
Yeah.
to that next plateau, I feel like I just got to be
Mhm.
ready for it. So sometimes you got to train yourself, your mind and your spirit and your body to be able to handle those things when they do come. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, thank you for taking us through such an epic voyage of your life and your career, and such beautiful gems you shared with all of us today, with me especially, since I'm the only one actually here. Or maybe you're listening at this point, the listener. But hey, um, thank you again, Pete. This was incredible to have a real deep chat with you, and this is again one of the reasons why I wanted to start this kind of podcast, because I would have these deep chats with you on the set of Stick Indian. Now, just like, my lord, these human beings need to reach the screens and the ears and the eyes and hearts of people, because there's just such there's some treasure inside, in you, and
Oh,
in
thanks, man.
the things that you say that I think are incredibly valuable. And I can't wait to see where your journey goes, and to hop back on in this podcast sphere in like 5 years and talk about how amazing it's been, and how healthy you are, and how all these amazing opportunities have come to you, but because you invited them in. And I can't wait to see who we become. But again, thank you for doing this. Uh One final question: where can people follow your journey, hear your music?
Ooh.
Please plug your socials, your websites, your social security number, whatever you like.
4 digits on my credit card. Uh,
Everyone's really listening now.
Yeah, my Instagram's Pete Sakes. My music is Ghost Etiquette, so you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you listen to musics. Ghost Etiquette. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I try not to go on social media too often, to be honest.
Nice.
So yeah, like to be in the real world. But yeah, Pete Sakes on Instagram, Ghost Etiquette also on Instagram. Check us out if you like trance music.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Pete. And thank you, listeners, for listening to another episode of Questions and Actor Laurent Pitre. And if you like this episode, please give it a like, a share, a comment, and ask questions. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section of this video. I will try and respond to as many questions as possible. And Pete, would you volunteer yourself too if they have any questions for you? To All right.
Absolutely. Any questions about
Yes.
acting, music, sound? I can help you make your movies sound better. So hit me up.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Dude, it was such a
Awesome.
pleasure to chat with you, man, and catch up.
Thanks, Pete.
Really proud of you for doing this and for all that you
Thanks, bro.
do for the acting community. And man, hope you book the next one.
Thank you. Let's book it.
Hell yeah.
And scene. Let me stop this here.